Hey guys, welcome back. So today I've got a full face review using only Maybelline products. So you guys know I've been doing some drugstore reviews. I did a full face of Essence already. If you haven't already, you can go check out that video. And on the community tab on my channel, I recently did a poll and asked you guys what brand you would like to see next from the drugstore. And I think there was like 3 or 4 choices, and Maybelline is the brand that won. So we're doing Maybelline. So I would actually love to know from you guys what other drugstore brands that you're really interested in and that you would like me to see do a video like this on, like a full face review using only that specific product. I'm gonna be using some new stuff actually from Maybelline, including this palette from the Gigi Hadid collection. I know this has launched already, I think in North America, but it's just launching now in Europe. So this is the Jet Setter palette. So I'm not using only Gigi Hadid stuff, plus a bunch of other Maybelline things. Some things are new, some things are already part of their permanent collection. So I really hope you guys like this video. If you do, please remember to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and let's get started. All right, so let's get started with the test of the foundations. Now there's actually 2 that I've been gravitating towards from Maybelline, and I've been really enjoying mixing these 2 together, and that's the Matte and Poreless by Fit Me and the new one, the Full Coverage Foundation. And I've actually been blending these 2 colors together to get just a really nice finish. So from the Matte and Poreless, I have the 102, 03 True Ivory from the Full Coverage Foundation. So I actually did a whole video about this foundation if you're curious. So yeah, I apply it with a brush and then I like to blend it out with like a makeup sponge. Now both of the foundations that I'm using here are made more for oily skin. And I have noticed that my skin is not really super dry anymore. I wouldn't say it's like really oily, but it's definitely not on the super dry side anymore. So that's why nowadays I tend to go for more of the foundations made for oily skin, even though I wouldn't really, like I said, I wouldn't really categorize my skin as oily, but I just feel like the ones for moisturizing are a little bit too heavy for me. By the way, this is a NYX makeup blending sponge. Okay, so for the concealer, I'm going to grab actually one of my favorites, and it's the Age Rewind Treatment Concealer, which has that slight pink tone to it. So I feel like this is great for masking my under eye circles. Like they usually tend to be a little bit more on the blue side, but I do feel like this covers up the blue and it's very, very brightening. And honestly, I feel like these concealers from Maybelline are some of the best drugstore concealers that you can find. If you guys like another drugstore concealer, let me know. And this concealer, I do feel like it gives quite a good coverage. I'm going to set everything with some powder, and I decided to go for the Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This is shade 105. Let's see how that works out. I'm gonna first set my under eye, and then I like to use just a bigger, fluffier brush, something like this, so I don't use quite as much powder, and then just set my whole face. All right, I zoomed you guys in a little bit more because I'm going to be doing the eyeshadow first, and I'm going to start things off by using one of the color tattoos, and I actually have used these in the past. This is the shade Creamy Beige number 98. It's one of the creamy mattes. I know a lot of people say that these are a good dupe to the MAC paint pots. I don't really agree with that statement just because they look similar, like the product is packaged very similarly. They're in this pot, and you know, it's like a cream shadow, kind of similar to the MAC paint pots, but I think where they really differ and why I kind of stopped buying these is they dry out so fast. The MAC paint pots honestly last so long before they start drying out. Like I've had soft ochre paint pot for so long, I should probably just replace it, but it's not even like close to drying out. I use it all the time as my eyeshadow base, and they just last so long. I found like the last time I bought one of these, it dried out within I think a month of buying it, and I had to toss it out. So I honestly feel like these are kind of a waste of money, even though they work really well and they apply nicely. Like this one's already, I can see it's already like pulling away. You can see how it's like kind of already pulling away from the side of the pot there. And this is like brand new. I mean, I just grabbed it. But the fact that they dry out so fast, you're not really saving yourself any money because you'll just have to throw it away. So, I mean, I'm using it now for the tutorial because they do work really nice as a base. But yeah, long run, they do dry out just super fast. And I'm just applying it with a MAC 217 brush actually. So for the main portion of this look, I'm going to be using the Gigi Hadid Jet Setter palette. This was just sent to me actually today. This is not even out yet here in Switzerland. I haven't seen it at the drugstore. I know it's out, I think, in North America. So I have absolutely no idea how much this costs, but I know some people have critiqued this palette saying that it's very expensive because it's more expensive than regular Maybelline stuff because you're paying for the collaboration with Gigi Hadid. I can't really say anything about that because, like I said, this was sent to me and it's not available yet here. So I don't know what it's going to be selling for here in Switzerland, but probably, whoa, it'll be way more than in North America. But it does come with like a nice big mirror here. It looks like a, oh, it's one of those funhouse mirrors. I don't even know if they're real mirrors, but they're kind of like, they warp your face a little bit. So my like proper hand mirror, it does not warp my face, but if I like look at this one, it kind of warps my face the further I am away. I think these are lip shades, and these are eyeshadow shades, and then this is like the face shades. So there's like a bronzer, blush, and then a highlighter here, and then I think this is actually a mascara. And then there's like two brushes in here, which, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna use these. These are like really awful quality, just very stiff, very cheap plastic. These are completely useless to me. I'm just going to directly toss those in the garbage, which now leaves like a lot of empty space there. I hate when they're like packaged like this. Like I can't get the seal off. I have to use like tweezers. This is when like Jeopardy music needs to start happening. It's like, no, why do you do this to me? Why can't you just have it be in there? The Colossal Volume Express. And I actually really like this. I was actually gonna use that mascara from the waterproof version. So this is actually a mascara that I do like. So yeah, that's what it would look like. There's still a little bit of packaging on there. I'm first gonna go in with this lilac shade right here. This package is like a little bit bulky. It's quite thick, actually, you can see there. Oh, holy smokes, okay. Chalky Powdery City. This is seriously like a funhouse mirror. I can't use this mirror. So I'm gonna go back to using my own mirror. So I already wouldn't really be able to use the mirror in there. And I'm going to just apply that into the crease. It's kind of like a mauve, a very light mauve shade. I don't really know how friendly this palette is to ladies with darker skin tone. Like I think, for example, this color that I'm just using now would just look very ashy on darker skin tone. I mean, Gigi Hadid is fair, I think, so I feel like this is a very sort of Caucasian palette. This smoky brown shade right here. 3 of the shades from the 4 eyeshadows are matte. Actually buff some of that over the lid as well. This actually looks like a proper matte black shade, not just a dark brown. And then work that onto like the outer crease area. Okay, the black is not actually very pigmented, but maybe for some people that can be kind of a good thing if you don't want something that's like too dark. It's not knocking my socks off like the pigmentation of this palette, but it's I feel like it's probably better than their bigger palettes. Like the nude palette, honestly, I felt was really, really bad. So I actually decluttered it. This mauve shade in here, oh my God, there's so much dusty. You can see it there. There's a lot of powderiness and like chalkiness coming out there. This is like the Subculture palette by Anastasia. It's very, very dusty. So there's actually like a highlighting shade here from those 4 eyeshadows, but honestly, I feel like it's very stark. It's kind of like a yellowish tone. I mean, let me just swatch that. It's like really glittery. So I would rather just prefer to go in with this, which I actually think is supposed to be a highlighter. And this one has more of like a pinky golden tone. Apply this like as a little highlight under the brow area. It's kind of applying a little bit chunky actually somehow. It's not very even. This one that I was just saying before, maybe just gonna grab that and do a little inner corner highlight with that. Let's see if that like works better. I don't know, they're chunky. This is why I decluttered all those Maybelline palettes, to be honest, because I just really was not impressed by their eyeshadows at all. Now using the eyeshadows that are in this palette, the kind of trend is continuing. Maybelline has some great products, but I don't think that eyeshadows are like their strong suit. This shade here, which I think is supposed to be the bronzer, so I'm gonna actually do that and do a little bit of blending out just because that mauve shade from the eyeshadows was like so chalky. So this actually, oh, that looks so much better. This is a much better transition color. It's a little bit lighter than the brown in there. my lower lash. Like, how is that even supposed to work as a bronzer? It's like so brown. Damn it. Because now I didn't buy a bronzer. I was actually going to just wear that, but that is definitely not going to work on my skin tone. So this new mascara actually is coming out here, and it's called the Total Temptation. And I haven't really heard anyone talking about this, and I'm kind of wondering if this is kind of like the copy to the Lash Paradise from L'Oreal, because you guys know that L'Oreal is the parent company of Maybelline. And also the cover is like that same color as the Gigi Hadid, that kind of millennial pink pastel shade. And it comes with a pretty like broad brush. There's the brush, as you guys can see. So this is not a waterproof mascara. This one I really wish that had a waterproof formula. All right guys, so I just wanted to compare these two mascaras. So this is the Total Temptation by Maybelline, and then this is the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. And actually when I look at the wand, so the wand is not exactly the same. They kind of are giving me very similar vibes though. And the result of this mascara, I mean, look at it. My lashes are usually so thin and sparse. Honestly, I really do like the result from the Total Temptation. It's definitely giving me kind of Lash Paradise vibes, you know, very dramatic and very intense. So I'm kind of wondering if it's like the same product, just in different tubes and maybe with slightly different ones. I don't know, but I actually do really like how this mascara looks. So I just really wish that this had a waterproof version. Maybe it's still coming out. The Brow Satin Smoothing Duo Brow Pencil and Filling Powder. So it's kind of like a two-sided thing. When you open it, it looks like somebody already used it, but what actually is happening is that the powder is in the lid. So each time you put the sponge in, I think it dips it like into the powder. But I really bought it because of this side, because the tip is really nice and thin. You can see there, like a really nice thin tip, and that's just the type of brow pencils that I prefer. Plus it has that really simple twist up mechanism, medium brown. Kind of has that waxy consistency. Oops, it just removed actually one of my lash hairs. It's tugging a little bit at the hair. It's kind of like a waxy pencil, so it's kind of, as I'm applying it, it is tugging a little bit on the hairs, so I'm hoping it's not gonna rip out any more hairs. A brush, and then just use the brush to kind of blend it out. Oh my God. There's like 3 more brow hairs on the tip now because they've been pulled out by this product. Okay, that's not so good. I mean, if this is like removing the few brow hairs that I have left, that's not ideal. I think the color is good too. It's not too warm tone. I can't really draw, as you can see, it's kind of getting messy there. I can't really draw individual hairs with this just because it is so waxy. So it's not going on smoothly. When I try to draw a little hair, it kind of just pulls at the skin a little bit. So you can't really use this to draw in little hairs. So I'm gonna see what the other side is all about, because there's supposed to be like a brow powder on the other side, but it's like, I don't know, this is weird. Let's see. How do you get it? You have to like dip back. Maybe I can use the powder to like fade out the inner corner a little bit. Oh dear. I have to fix this now. This is too much. I am kind of like not sure about it. Honestly, I think the pencil side was pretty good from the pigmentation. Like, it really does a good job of filling in, especially if you have sparse brows, but it was almost tugging a little bit too much. So some of my brow hairs, it like pulled them out. The powder side, I think, also made it look really nice and soft. Although I have to say the tip was like a little bit hard to use because it's like this weird kind of spongy kind of applicator, so it's not super precise, but I'm not hating the brows. I've definitely tried worse brow products from the drugstore. I was actually planning to use this bronzer from this palette to do bronzing. There's no way I can use this bronzer because it's just so dark, and the other thing is that these components are so narrow that I don't even know how I would get my brush in there, because if I use like, okay, so this is usually the brush that I like to use for contouring or bronzing. I mean, blush in here, which is actually really pretty. It's like this really bright peach. Like here, you can see a swatch of it. Really intense. It looks really pretty. But again, this stripe is so thin. Like, what kind of brush are you supposed to get in there? Like, why did they do this? Why didn't they just do like 3 bars this way instead of doing them this way? That is just stupid because they could have used this space this way doing highlighter, bronzer. Like, how am I supposed to get that in there? I mean, even using like a tiny brush like this, which is more like a highlighting brush. And then these eyeshadows, they're okay, but this one was like super chalky. And this one is like kind of chunky shimmer. Lip products, I don't even really want to use them because there's already black eyeshadow now in all of them. I guess when I was using the black eyeshadow, some of it kind of poofed up and got into the lipstick. So now you have these lipsticks with powder mess in there. So actually I bought this blush palette. This is the Master Bronze Color and Highlighting Kit. 4 products in here. I mean, this one is kind of more like a highlighty color. These 3 here, these are definitely more blushes. And I think I'm gonna go in with this shade here. A little bit of dust kicking up. It's actually really pretty. Now this one, I actually do like this blush, but now what I'm thinking is, looking at this palette, they're kind of trying to cover all the bases. Like, they have a really light highlighter, and then they have this darker blush here, which I guess would be really nice on darker skin tones. People have either or, people don't have like both. So I think really darker skin ladies might not be able to use this color, and I definitely won't be able to use this color because this is like a really intense kind of raisiny shade, which definitely would not work on my skin tone as blush. You know, if you have lighter skin tone, there'll be definitely at least one shade that you won't be able to use, and if you have dark shade, you probably won't be able to use the lighter color. So I'm gonna use the lightest shade that's in that palette. It's very, very freaking dusty. Okay, it's definitely adding a little bit of glow, which I like. From the Gigi Hadid palette, because that highlighter actually looks very nice as well. Okay, that one is definitely more shimmery and highlighty than that one from the blush palette. Kind of has like a golden under base, like a champagne gold. All right, so as far as highlighter goes, the Gigi Hadid side is definitely more glowy. I had to apply less to get a very nice shimmery finish. Versus this side, I feel like I had to apply more product and there's definitely less of a sheen in this. All right guys, so for the lips, I'm gonna be using this lip liner. This is the Color Sensational Lip Liner, Dusty Rose. And I actually do really like these lip liners. It's one of those twist up automatic. You don't need a sharpener, just super simple. And here's the thing, this is really where I think Maybelline do a good job, is with lip products. Like, lip products and mascaras are probably my favorite Maybelline products. Their lipstick, this is 987 Smoky Rose. This is from their matte range. And I think their lipsticks are just wonderful. But I do want to top it with this, the Vivid Hot Lacquer. And this is in the shade Too Cute, number 66. These ones I also really like. These are just like really pigmented lip glosses, like lip lacquers with a glossy finish. So that is actually gonna be my final look, and I just wanna give you guys sort of my general feedback on all the products. The Gigi Hadid, which was like the main component that I wanted to use for this, probably would not buy this myself, and now that I've used it, I kind of find it hard to recommend this. While I don't know the price point of how much this is going to sell for in my country because it's not out yet, I have heard from other people that it's kind of expensive, especially for drugstore prices, and that it's more expensive than their usual line. I wasn't wowed by the shadows. Like, this is so dusty, and this one is kind of chunky. The lipsticks, I'm not really into lip palettes anyway, because then if you do want to use one of these lip products, then like, what are you gonna do if you're outside and you have to like touch up your lipstick? Like, you're gonna lug around this huge like bulky palette with you just to touch up your lipstick. I've mentioned this so many times, but I hate when like cream and powder shadows are in the same palette. I just think it's the worst idea ever, because you end up getting the powder into the cream stuff, which has already happened. There's already little flecks of black eyeshadow now in these lipsticks. And is this even a lipstick, or is that supposed to be like a concealer? Like, nobody even knows. I think these actually might be contouring products, these two at the top, now that I look at it. Nah, I'm not into that. Ugh, I'm just gross. Like, I'm just kind of grossed out by that, to be honest. And then these three I think would have been okay. Like, the bronzer is definitely unusable for my skin tone, so it would work for me anyway. I was kind of using it as a transition color for the eyeshadow, but I think they made a big mistake making them this way, because you almost can't get your brush, especially in the blush, it's so small. Don't really find this palette worth it. It's very bulky, and then like, if you don't use the brushes, this whole space is wasted. And then the mascara, I actually do like this mascara by Maybelline, but you probably won't keep it in here. Maybe some people would, but I probably wouldn't, and then you have just like all this wasted space. I'm not into this palette. Like, it just is not my favorite. The blush palette, I actually did like this. I mean, I think the blush is really pretty. The highlighter in here is not that glowy. Like, the highlighter in the Gigi Hadid palette is way more glowing than this, but the other ones are really nice. I think I do like the blush, and I do like how that looks. The lip products, I love them. Like I said, I think Maybelline lip products are wonderful. Also, the foundation, I really like it, and this is honestly a foundation that I do go for in my personal life. The eyebrow product, like, now that I'm looking at my eyebrows, like, I don't think it looks bad. Like, I think they actually look good. I don't know if it's like my favorite brow product. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be my go-to. And then the mascara, I actually really liked it as well. The Total Temptation. I think my lashes look really great. I just wish they had a waterproof formula. I think it's a nice look. Like, I definitely like my makeup today. I just probably wouldn't go for this big palette. I think you can get probably a similar result by not spending so much money. What do you guys think about this? Like, do you guys like this look? Let me know in the comments how you enjoyed it. And also let me know in the comments what other brand you want me to do a full face review of. And I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. That helps my channel. And subscribe to my channel if this is the first time that you're watching. And I will see you very soon. Bye!